to this edition of the Pro. First thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag AEW Pro Wrestling Show, Pro Wrestling Show, Pro Wrestling Show, on Connect TV on YouTube. I'm sorry, y'all, and on digital streaming channels. Join in the conversation by using the hashtag Pro Wrestling. Danielson having the instant classic. We know Timothy Thatcher and Brian Danielson are both wrestling technicians, and they was going to go pound for pound in the ring later on. Also, too, Heyman Page versus John Moxley. These two men want to get each other, want to tear each other heads apart. They do so coming up shortly. We'll talk about that. And two, the main event, the TNT Championship is on. In the main event tonight, so-called like reclaim himself as the king of television, as well as tag team champions The Acclaim are in action. But you'll get a surprise and those about that. Well, we begin with this. Two former AEW World Champions in the ring colliding one-on-one. Heyman Page versus John Moxley. It's a battle of respect. It's a battle of pride. These two men want to tear each other's heads apart. In order to do so, that was going to be, as you see right here, Moxley versus Heyman Page in a match. Moxley brought his crew out, the Blackpool Combat Club. Heyman coming out alone. Heyman Moxley beating the hell out of each other. And it was still on winning the world title contention ever since Brian had stepped up. But things still trying to get a little bit crazy as Moxley trying to beat the respect out of Heyman. Heyman trying to beat the respect out of Moxley. Who's gonna give in? It's just a battle of two men with pride on the side. So we just have to wait and see how that's gonna interact down the road. But I can tell you this: Heyman Adam Page, he been coming around Moxley's wife, as Moxley's wife interviewing Heyman Adam Page. Do you think that's a conflict of interest to me? You would think so. As Heyman, if he don't trust Moxley, why would you even be interviewed by his wife, Renee Moxley Good, Moxley Good Young in your corner? I just continue. I'm looking forward to seeing the AEW Tag Team Champions, The Acclaim, was in action. The Acclaim, the finest defending Tag Team Champions, The Acclaim fought against all comers that come their way. Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, to name a few. The Acclaim won the Tag Team titles, took on FTR, beat underlying tension, as we told you coming up, that The Acclaim and the Gun Boys are fighting for the attention of Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn in the middle. Billy Gunn made a point clear that this has to end some way, somehow. When chips next week, I say this: look for a ruse to happen. Billy rusing The Acclaim and having them trust him, and The Acclaim finally turns on Billy, turns on The Acclaim, giving The Acclaim their loss in their goal for the tag team titles. Billy Gunn kind of torn between the two, like he always do with his son's trying to. It's just a ruse, and I think the acclaim does not see that, and we know next week they will be in action when they defend their championships against MJF, who's been politicking as late. MJF looking to seize his moment. The AEW champion continues to put obstacles around Daniel Bryan, who is now the number one contender for his championship. Only thing Daniel Bryan has to do is keep winning, and if Daniel Bryan keeps winning, he will get his world championship match at Revolution against MJF in a 60-minute Iron Bandito. All comers. Bandino, you name it. Brian has went through the rest. He went through Cage to get this opportunity. Going through Cage with MJL trying to take Brian's arm out. Um, even Brian's friend, I forgot whose name. I don't want to botch his name, but Brian's friend has came to the aid of him. Well, Daniel Bryan went against somebody tonight. He went against someone that's kind of equally to him, Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher, both him and Timothy NXT. Well, Thatcher, we hope to find it. With yeah, this is it. Bryan went against Thatcher in a match and defeated Timothy Thatcher. But they continue on when MJF tried to come out there and that dude, I don't want to botch his name. He saved Bryan. Bryan continues on winning, and Bryan continues on going. And Bryan could be getting him. Bryan is getting a shot at the world title because this is the beginning of February, February 3rd. And hey, Bryan's getting the shot that everyone's been talking about. So we'll look for that. Also, too, Jade Cargill defeated Red Velvet to earn her 50th win in AEW. She's 50-0 in AEW. And Jade um winning her 50th win on Black History Month, the beginning of Black History Month in February. So congratulations to her. Also, to the Jericho Appreciation Society continues to talk about Ricky Starks and Action Andretti. Think they can't. Jericho still can't get over the fact of what had happened with down with him, and Jericho's trying to find a way to even up the odds. But only time will tell with Jericho and how Jericho Jericho with his podcast um did a tribute to what's his name, Jay Briscoe, which that was nice of Jericho to do. Jericho didn't have to do that, but that was nice of him doing that. Honoring the life of Jay Briscoe. Um, even had Jay Lethal on there and talking about Jay and Mark. Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe had that match last week, and it was an honor to Jay and what a fitting tribute it was. Jay Briscoe will be boy. Uh, But if we had a recent picture of Jay, he will be remembered. Mark did a phenomenal job paying tribute to his brother, and what a tribute it was for Mark to do so to his brother. He said Jay on the throne, and Mark's speech, and Mark did a from the heart speech. It was heartfelt. You can tell Mark loved his brother, and he loved everything about Jay. And Jay will be missed. I tell you that right now. He's in a better place. I tell you that. Um, speaking of that, speaking of that, Jamie Hayter and the Bunny with Paige did attacking Dr. Britt Baker. So there's a lot going on. So hey, it's a lot. He's in out there. So hey, with Jungle Boy and stuff. Even too, what's his name? The Elite. You know what they got challenged by Matt Hardy, Ethan Page, and everybody else. Don't know what Elite trying to do, play basketball or what they had going on. Where that didn't make no sense, but they're still Elite for you. Joe Cornette might have a kid. Also, too, Samoa Joe went against Darby Allin. Samoa Joe, as you see right here, Samoa Joe went against Darby Allin. Darby Allin, TNT champion. Samoa Joe back in a hard fought matchup that he would never have thought he was gonna do. The king of television, Samoa Joe, like to call himself, with some Joe belts, 2 belts, back as the king of television. And Samoa Joe got welcome again. Remember, Darby helped save Warlow. Guess who came back to help save Darby? Warlow with a new crew cut, a new look. Warlow cutting that ponytail, and Warlow trying to repackage himself. Went after Samoa Joe, tried to powerbomb Joe, but Joe tried to get back into the fray of things, and just didn't work out for Joe. And now some Warlow's back, and Warlow wants to get back. Warlow has Tanahashi for a qualifying match, so we'll get to see that. These two men had brawl and try to beat each other apart. We'll see that next week as well. So that's it. And two, with more news, we tell you this, that AEW news, they're gonna do AEW together. There's gonna be repackaged as their global initiative. So their community development. So they want to reach out to community. So they're gonna rename it AEW together. With Mark Henry and Captain Sean Dean, Jake the Snake Roberts, all of them as advisors. Also, too, as you see right here, this is the AEW Together banner. What they're doing, looks like they're non-profit or whatever they're gonna do. SmackDown Ring Report. We're gonna related to the company and stuff. We're gonna talk about Logan Paul, what Logan Paul has to do with the 2K 2K3, I think. If we can show that. 2K3, Logan Paul coming on 2K3. So Logan Paul, we'll see what that's going to be going on. We'll talk about that and more. But we're going to leave you with Warlow returning to make a statement. And Warlow wants to make a statement whatsoever by getting back his TV championship, but he wants to go after Samoa Joe. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show Presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. I've been your host, Kenny Dick, saying so long, and thank you for watching. Let's go for satisfaction.